This is it, my 100th video. One of the big reasons that I started making these is to preserve my family's recipes for my kids and the next generation. So for my 100th video, I really wanted to share one of my absolute favorite dishes, my PoPo's Kau Yuk. The problem is, she never really taught me how to make it. So I'm just going to do my best to recreate it. Let's start with what I do know. I went to Costco to get a big pack of pork belly. PoPo would start off by parboiling the pork belly in boiling water for just a minute or two. See that gunk that it leaves behind? That's what we're trying to get rid of. Then, PoPo would poke holes in the pork belly skin to let the excess oil and fat drain out of it. I'm sure about this part because my dad would help my PoPo with it and complained how hot it was. Now this part gets a bit ambiguous. I know that PoPo would cook the pork again, but my dad gave me the impression that PoPo would just boil the pork again and poke it again several times. But other recipes I've read say that you fry the pork belly to get the right texture. Either way, it's a lot of work. You're essentially cooking the pork several times over. So PoPo would really only make this dish at Chinese New Year's. Chinese New Year's when I was a kid was so wonderful with all the family around. If you haven't, please subscribe and tell all your friends. Here's something that I distinctly remember. If you look at other recipes or even go to other restaurants around town, you would see the pork on a bed of mui choy or pickled vegetables. But I distinctly remember PoPo putting the pork on a bed of Jook or dried bean curd instead. This might have been her own spin on things, but it's something that I distinctly remember as a kid. But here is where we're wandering into pure guesswork. I don't really know what ingredients PoPo used to make her sauce. So what I've done is refer to several different notable sources to find the ingredients that they use. Then, I've compared the ingredients to see which ones they all had in common, as well as trying to eliminate ones that were unusual to any particular recipe. I'm hoping to match the flavors to what I've got burned in my memory. The most dominant flavor would have to be that of namyeoi, or the red fermented bean curd. Actually, if you go to different Chinese fast food restaurants around town, like Chanhua Cam, you'll find Kau Yuk that is very brightly red color, and I think it's a local Hawaii variation. Different recipes have called for sangcho or light soy sauce, some called for lo cho or dark soy sauce, some just called for Hawaiian salt. I'm going to go with the sangcho since it's kind of all-purpose. Other recipes I've looked at call for some Hou Yau or oyster sauce. I'm not too sure about this one, but I'll add just a little bit anyway. Now, just a spoonful of sugar to sweeten things up a little bit, but not too much. Not like one of those sweet, gloppy Chinese American dishes. Now, just a little bit of Herng or Chinese spice. Actually, that's what certain recipes have called for, but what I really remember being in PoPo's was whole pieces of Baat or star anise. In fact, I distinctly remember picking out whole pieces of Baat in PoPo's Kau Yuk, and hers always had a good strong licoricey hit. I'm gonna crush them a little so that they'll release their aroma. Various recipes have called for garlic, and honestly, you can't go wrong with minced garlic. So those are going in as well. If you look up various sources, you'll see Kau Yuk listed as originally a Hakka dish. This kind of surprised me because my family was definitely Bun Cantonese, not Hakka. In fact, my gongong would always get bent out of shape if someone called him Hakka. There was a lot of bad blood between the Punte and the Hakka in those days. But to me, I always just think of it as the favorite dish of all Hawaii Chinese. Since it's Chinese, of course you gotta add some fresh ginger too. If you're not familiar, the Hakka people were a clan of Chinese who had offended the emperor way back in ancient times. So they were exiled without territory, kind of like the Romani people, formerly called Gypsies, in Europe. They found their way to the south and settled in with the local Cantonese, which of course caused all kinds of territorial disputes and strife. The name Hakka literally means house guest. But to me, it just demonstrated their great resilience. Now that we've finished our sauce, we're gonna slice up the pork belly and let it bathe in it. As I mentioned, other restaurants around town would serve it over a bed of mui choy, or pickled cabbage. But PoPo always used Jook, so that's what I'm gonna use. Other places would put slices of fried taro between the slices of pork belly. Fried taro tastes great and really sops up the sauce, so you should try it. But PoPo never used the taro, so I'm not going to either. I keep calling her PoPo, but in standard Cantonese, PoPo and Gongong are your mother's side grandmother and grandfather. Your father's side are called Mama and Yeye. Now, we just put the whole bowl in the steamer for a good 3 hours. Be sure to add water halfway through so it doesn't dry out and burn. Like I said, labor-intensive and time-consuming, but oh, it's gonna be so worth it. Alright, I guess we're gonna need a vegetable to go with our Kau Yuk. But since the Kau Yuk is so humbug, I want to make something easy and simple. PoPo would cook Won Bok or Napa cabbage all the time. Though similar, Won Bok isn't the same vegetable as bok choy. It's such a versatile and beloved vegetable that I've even seen beautiful jade carvings of Won Bok decorate people's homes. We're just going to chow or stir fry the Won Bok in a little bit of Ma Yau or sesame oil. Since it's a pretty simple dish, I want to use a nice flavorful oil. Oh, and since we chopped up all of that garlic and ginger for our Kau Yuk, I'm gonna throw some of those in to add a bit more flavor to the oil as well. Your support lets me share my PoPo's awesomeness, keep her memory alive, and pass her legacy down to the next generation. Now for the secret ingredient. PoPo would always chow the Won Bok with a pack of Har Mai, or dried shrimp. Har Mai was one of her go-to ingredients, but it's also one of my uncle's favorite snacks, and my cat's absolute favorite food. Anytime I cook with Har Mai, my cats are sure to come running. I suppose I'll throw in just a splash of Hou Yau as well, just to kick things up a bit. You can really eat Won Bok raw like a salad, so there's no need to cook it very long. In fact, a good chow is done on fairly high heat for a very brief period of time, but it should still have some crunch to it. It shouldn't be all wilty and soft. After 3 hours, the Kau Yuk should be just about ready. I think you're supposed to turn it upside down on a plate to serve it as well, but I think this looks pretty enough. And that's it! My first attempt to recreate my PoPo's beloved Kau Yuk. and my PoPo's Won Bok with Har Mai. You know, most people these days don't even know the difference between Hakka, Cantonese, or other Chinese. But China is incredibly diverse. The Hakka and Cantonese don't even speak the same language. But Chinese have been in Hawaii for almost 250 years. Long enough that I feel like Hawaii Chinese is just our own identity at this point. And Kau Yuk is one of our most beloved dishes. This just totally melts in your mouth. Oh man, this tastes so good, it just makes me want to cry. No, it doesn't taste exactly like PoPo's, but it's not too far off either. The Won Bok is much milder in flavor by comparison, but that makes it a nice counterbalance to the super flavorful Kau Yuk. And honestly, also totally reminds me of my PoPo. Fine Nanami, you can have a piece of Har Mai too. The bed of Jook at the bottom of PoPo's Kau Yuk is just the bomb. It soaks up all the flavors of everything else in the bowl. I can't believe I've actually made 100 of these videos. I can't believe that anyone actually watches them. Thank you so much. Please stick with me because I've got a lot more to share still to come.